We're here at Dripping Springs Garden, the name of our farm. We've been here for 26 years. We have about 60 different flower crops and about 30 different vegetable crops. So it's hard to say what are the main crops. The vegetables, we have about 30 different types of vegetables, and we have a CSA program, Community Supported Agriculture Program, a weekly box program for about 30 families, and we sell at the Fayetteville Market vegetables. So that's why we have such a big diversity, and the crops are continually changing places. And over time, as we develop more of a clientele in Fayetteville, we decided we would just take all of the things to the Fayetteville Farmers Market and try to centralize our marketing there. We do deal with 1 or 2 retail florists in Fayetteville. And the Community Supported Agriculture Program was something that we started both in 1989 and in 2006. It's fun. We find that our customers enjoy us telling our story because it sets our product apart from what they find at the grocery store. It's as if the clients have given us a loan in the spring to produce their material, and then we deliver that all summer long through middle of October. Plus, we have an opportunity to educationally to teach people how to use vegetables that they don't know. We enjoy this type of work, and we have a great crop of young people that come in every year that some are paid and some are volunteer. MESA, M-E-S-A, stands for the Multinational Exchange for Sustainable Agriculture. And what they do is they bring in about 40 international students a year from the participating countries and place them with organic or sustainable host farms in the U.S. They're here from beginning of April until the middle of November. When they come as a training program, not as a job per se. The government requires that we have a training plan in place because these are not underpaid foreign workers coming in. These are people that are coming in that can be paid while they're studying a specific discipline. We keep really careful records of how much we're planting of each crop, when it was planted, what variety it was, what seed company it came from. This entire area is all mapped out, and on the map is exactly when it was planted. And at the end of the year, I'll go through that, and I'll have an idea, well, we need to increase this by 50%. We need to drop this totally, because we can't spend the time planting things if they're not going to sell. End of the year, in the wintertime, I put that all in the computer so they have a complete record of what happened. From that, I can start developing a month-by-month planting plan that hopefully then will provide us with the 2,000 zinnias that we need on May 15th to plant the next year. What doesn't work for me is trying to map it all out where everything's going to go in advance because it's so weather dependent. All weed management has to either be done by pulling it out or hand cultivation with hose, or hopefully none at all. So this is what we initially started using we started using hay mulch from our neighbors, and we brought in all kinds of nasty weeds from the pastures around here. So you can avoid bringing in a lot of stuff if you don't use your neighbor's hay. So we started buying straw. Straw is expensive, and for us, it basically has to come from Kansas. The problem with wheat straw is that if you have a lot of wheat germination, you are planting the seeds of a lot of labor as you mulch. So there are some drawbacks to using wheat, but we still use it in a lot of cases where if we're using a plant that has enough push to come through the mulch, we can avoid ever having to cultivate this. If we just left this bed exposed and let the beans come up, within a month there would be a whole crop of weeds here. Now, in order to deal with the fact that sometimes you get sections of mulch beds that have lots of wheat coming up, we started using a lot of landscape fabric. And this is an alternative to black plastic use. It's more expensive. Now, that material, from what we can tell, will last about 20 years. Pretty much any organic insect control is targeted to a specific organism for which the grower has to be aware of the life cycle and be constantly monitoring. It's not some silver bullet you can go out there and spray over the whole area that's not going to be toxic to anything and kill all the bad guys. It's just not how it works. So that's one of the most common questions For instance, extension people will have to organic growers, how do you control the debugs? Well, debugs are an infinite number of separate organisms with separate life cycles, separate feeding strategies and all that and stuff. So you have to be much more educated about the biology of the pest. In general, we have a few specific pests that give us problems and few problems on 80 or 90% of everything else. And just in general, I think that we don't have so many insect problems because we have such a huge diversity of crops. There's 3 management techniques. 1, stop growing it, grow something else, cover it up with a translucent insect preventing cover like Reemay or Agribon, or plant it inside a greenhouse. We don't have the flea beetle problem in the greenhouse. When a customer stops at our stand, we want them to buy everything, this one-stop shopping. They can buy a bouquet, they can buy tomatoes, they can buy some mushrooms, they can buy some onions, etc. Instead of just having a bunch of watermelons in the back of the pickup, well, they can buy one watermelon and then walk on to the next person. So the more things you can have. The downside of that is it requires more management. More management, more information about how to manage the pests, the planting, all that. Probably more labor. Cut flower production in particular takes a lot of labor. So minimization of labor expenses is really important on a small scale. It's challenging. It's not a get-rich type of situation, but it's a wonderful lifestyle, and it is doable, but you have to be careful not to, farming is an easy way to go broke if you're not careful and not smart about what you plant.